Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Tait and Lawrence from Nanjing Marketing Group. It's time for our weekly podcast about some of the trends going on in China. This week, we're going to be focusing mostly on what's going on with the auto industry, vehicles, new energy vehicles, autonomous vehicles, that kind of stuff. But before that, we're going to look a bit about China's population trends, a little bit about economics, and I might throw a little bit about crypto assets in there at some point too. So the first thing the first thing we want to talk about is none of that. The first thing we want to talk about is some of the updates going on WeChat, something to do with the channels. Lawrence, what is it? Let me know.
Okay, so back to 16th of April this month, WeChat launched a new live task for the video channels. So you know that in each platform, like WeChat, Douyu, all hosts has their task to do. Probably, for example, you need to be live on the platform for probably 100 hours per month, and that is probably one simple task. But sometimes they need to have more tasks to do. And from 16th of April, WeChat is promoting the live channel and giving out more tasks for the host. And once the host complete those tasks, they will receive bonus bins. Remember back to last month, we were talking about WeChat bins and how that can be cashed out.
Okay.
And from that day, from the 16th, now they actually giving the WeChat bins, which means one WeChat bin is roughly equal to probably 20 cents of Chinese yuan. So if you have a 10, that'll be two Chinese yuan. So I think this new feature in particular is promoting the WeChat video overall. They're attracting more hosts from other platforms to WeChat video channels because they are giving out more bonus. Because if you're giving out more money, people come to watch, and then that's just attractive people.
Right. Okay. But they're not paying these people straight up. Like it's not that they're hiring mega influencers to come up and do these. It's just that they're giving out these tasks that anybody can complete?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Anyone can, if you have a video channel ready and then you wanted to host, and then you can participate in this task. And all you have to do is go live for a particular time and then see what kind of task you may complete, and then you will probably receive bonus from that. You can earn some money for yourself.
Okay. So what's an example of a task?
So right here, they mention a few tasks. First of all, they have a multiple task. They didn't claim what is multiple task, but there is one rule is how many days you've been live effectively. If you want to count one day as effective, you need to be live at least for 1 hour. That will be count as one day live. Then if you're over than a certain period of time, then you will get extra bonus. And there's also other rules like the total amount of live time you have that in that month, and how many days you've been live, and all those comes up with equation, and that will just give you a total result of how your performance is in a particular month, and then they will just give you the bonus that equals to the performance.
Right. So this is going to be really relevant to influencers and probably the e-commerce segment. Not so much for projects we run like B2B, because we're not doing any kind of streaming like this on a daily basis. Right?
Yes. I don't think this will help a lot on B2B, but maybe this could be helpful for education. I mean, if you have if any client who wants to approach us and they want to share something, probably they can do a way of doing live on WeChat. All you have to do is probably holding your phone and walking around in your campus, giving an introduction about the facilities, or even just giving out a free live lecture in your school, and that would be helpful. I mean, all you have to do is be live for 1 hour.
Okay. So you think that the streaming on WeChat is going to be more useful for education-oriented companies too?
Yes, I think particularly really helpful for those influencer or the people who selling the daily use stuff like
Yeah.
clothes or smartphones. But the thing about WeChat is it has a lot of people using it. And if anyone tries to promote the new feature within WeChat, it will be rather easier compared with other platforms because you don't have to download more applications.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And there have been a whole bunch of updates on WeChat recently on the Android version, right? And
Yes.
this is one of the updates that you're following, but the other ones were mostly stuff that has already been in iOS, if I understand correctly.
Yes. So we discussed most of them before.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, you will see a delay between the Android version and the iOS version.
Yeah.
So normally, you see probably 2 weeks or 3 weeks delay for the
Mm-hmm.
WeChat update on Android.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next topic here. Now about China's population. This is an
Mhm.
article from scmp.com. And I know I've talked about this before, but I think it's really important. And what it says is that 4 researchers from the People's Bank of China said the country should not interfere with people's ability to have children or it will be too late to reverse the economic impact of a declining population. Now, these are bankers
Mhm.
that wrote this report, and they're economically focused people. So I think what they're thinking here is that people that are middle-aged, not too old, not too young, uh, they generate more income, they produce more stuff, right?
Yeah.
They're the workers. Now, without China's birth rate being high enough, China's population is just getting older and older.
Yes.
Um, I wanted to actually kind of consider something that is not in this article, but and something that I don't normally see in articles, and ask your opinion on it, Lawrence. Um, I see a lot of stuff like this come out from the Chinese government from time to time, or from
Mhm.
banks or uh, people with economic interests, etc. And they never seem to talk about immigration. They keep talking about the birth rate in China, and they talk about needing more people that are going to be at the right age to work. But they're
Mhm.
not talking about, for example, just getting immigrants from around the world, from Africa, Europe,
Mhm.
South America, wherever.
Uh-huh. Mhm. Actually, that was one of the topic I learned when I was in my university, and that was one of my IC. So the class called International Study, particularly focusing on Asian Pacific. So
Mm-hmm.
there's one clearly example I want to show you is Japan. Have you ever seen Japan as a developed country receiving many immigrants? Have you have you heard about that?
I heard that they don't have many immigrants in Japan.
Yes, it's just like China. The reason is both China and Japan, or maybe we can bring South Korea in this discussion, is we have a certain stable social atmosphere
Yeah.
where the locals don't really, I wouldn't say the hate or dislike, is they don't accept those people as their own peers.
Right.
So for example, today, if you came to 19 today, people may like you. People may want to maybe take a picture with you, but they will always treat you as a foreigner. Even if you hold a Chinese passport, if you hold a Chinese ID card, from their point of view, you're not a real Chinese. I mean, you are just
Yeah.
immigrants,
Right.
and they
I
don't seem to accept those type of things. So from the IC I learned is in China or Japan or South Korea, um, we tend to have a long history background, and we only familiar or accepted those who look like us. And for
mm-hmm.
those people who don't look like us, or who don't maybe be part of our history,
Mm-hmm.
from the bottom of the heart, it's very hard for us to accept them.
Yeah.
And that is why you don't see a lot of immigrants in China, Japan, or Korea.
Sure, but you do see people living from other countries in China, though. You do see foreigners there from different places, but they're not considered Chinese, and they're never considered Chinese. Whereas in Canada, a person could become a Canadian, and then it doesn't matter where they come from. If they have kids in Canada, those kids would be even more Canadian in the eyes of other Canadians, right? Those kids would be just like exactly like other Canadians. But I wonder if that, I know that's not the thing in China now, but I wonder if that might become a thing in the future. I mean, maybe sometime in the future, even the government would promote that if they really feel like the population is getting too old and they need more people, and they don't want to have a stagnated economy like Japan. They might just change their mind and be like, okay, African people can now be Chinese too.
I think it's not about the identity, or I mean, where you come from, or are you holding a Chinese license, or how long have you been living in China. It's about, are you really a Chinese? I mean, from the blood type. Yeah. We have seen like so many people are now coming to China. They're learning from China. They just like the China, and we have seen so many foreigners like that on either YouTube or Bilibili. But the thing is, you always see comments like, "Oh, this foreigner is cute," or he's he's a foreigner who speaks truth. But people never treat him like, oh, he's a guy, he's a Chinese who speaks truth. So it's different. And when we're talking about immigrants in the future, and that's still a long way to go. I mean, China now is still a country that is working on developing. And I know a lot of people are probably still in poverty, they're not rich enough. So bring more immigrants to the country means the Chinese people, there are some Chinese people, only a group of people might lose their jobs. Because if you want to have a new immigrants, that means you have to give them a job.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing the bank's worried about though, is there's going to be jobs that are not filled. There's going to be, the people could be producing more stuff, doing more work. All right, let's move on to the next topic. I think we covered this one. Good. This one's just real short. It's about Chinese economy. Now, I've seen some headlines that China's economy expanded by 18% year on year, which sounds like just an amazing amount. But really what happened is that last year was the main part of the pandemic, like the hardest hitting part of the pandemic in China, and there were major lockdowns, and there was just negative growth. So to say that things grew 18% year on year is a bit misleading. Basically, it's just that things are pretty much, well, they're normal or they're close to normal in China. They're not quite normal. Things are kind of weird in the world still, but the economy is generally pretty good in China.
Yeah.
Straight to the next one here from wallstreetjournal.com about China car sales. Just like the economy bouncing back, the car sales in China have bounced back. And after I talk about this one, we have a few more pieces about the auto industry in China. I just think it's really interesting to watch. And I know you know a lot about it, Lawrence, and I don't know so much about the car industry in China. In China, I don't even know so much about cars, so you can educate me about it. I'll just lay out the basic economic info here. What it says from this article is auto sales in China recovered to pre-pandemic levels in the first 3 months of 2021, though the world's largest car market was subdued with the exception of red-hot demand for electric vehicles. Now, the market is unlikely to regain the heights of the previous decade's boom until around 2024. Some types of vehicles have been doing well, others haven't. So, for example, General Motors had a pretty bad time in China. It's their worst first quarter since 2012, and that's not counting 2020. But electric vehicle sales have gone up. There were 437,000 units sold in the quarter, which is 8% of the market share in China already. Pretty good.
That's a lot.
So do you want to talk about any of this situation in general, or just move on to the individual news items about the vehicles?
I think we should probably cover other topics, and then we can discuss them in one topic.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So this one that you shared with me, Lawrence, is about Tesla. Now, I know Tesla's had various complaints in China lately, right?
Yeah.
Even though they made a lot of sales, they're attracting some negative press. So what's going on there?
So back to let me just get long story short. So back to probably 3 or 4 days ago, there is a car exhibition in Shanghai, where you see a lot of manufacturers, auto industry, and then there is one lady who bought Tesla and are doing protesting because she was driving Tesla back to the last year, and there was an accident with the brakes. She can't even brake the car, and then she involved with an accident that
Okay.
causes tons of money for her to get out from the hospitals. And then she asked Tesla to give more data about what happened in that accident, and Tesla won't give her because that's actually her personal data. And then
Uh,
she just wear a clothes says Tesla has issue with brakes in that manufacturer in that car exhibition.
oh, okay. So she went to the exhibition to protest this.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then she got pulled out into the police station and fined her in the jail for 5 days.
Mm.
And Tesla, the PR department, giving out a statement by the probably president, and claim that Tesla will never surrender to those kind of a protest. But there was an issue, and that's why this lady is protesting. And then huge pressure come from the regulation side. A few Chinese government platforms or department is asking Tesla, how dare you say something to a client when you have an issue with your cars? And then Tesla feel, oh, this is huge pressure because
Hmm.
in China the government owns everything. When the regulation comes, you need to be prepared.
Hmm.
And then they said sorry to the lady. And now, as far as I know, at today, a lot of the cities or regulation department is asking Tesla to give out more details about how those accidents in China happened and why Tesla won't preview those personal data to their clients.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So in the future, they're going to have to be more forthcoming, giving over their data to individuals and the government too, right?
Yes,
Mm.
it's not giving data to the government, it's to explain why a particular accident is happening and how you're going to resolve that.
Hmm.
Because if you, as a company, won't preview the information happening in that accident, how is customer going to know that is human error? I mean,
Right.
probably someone is driving reckless. All that happens because of Tesla.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tesla will have some interesting marketing in it, and it has the like personality of Elon Musk behind it, but they make some strange PR decisions and PR kind of blunders. It seems
Yeah.
like it's obvious that they should be more forthcoming with the information and give an explanation of what happened, because if a person, if the brakes don't work, like geez, that's
Mhm.
like a nightmare. People have nightmares of stuff
Yeah.
like that. I have dreams like that, and then like once in a while, um, and if that happens to one person, other people are going to be questioning that too. So a company really has to have a good explanation of why the brakes didn't work and what they do to
Yes.
fix it too.
Yeah, that's the point that currently the society is asking
Mm.
is if you have an issue, then solve it. And we want to know why it happens.
Hmm.
Because of someone driving recklessly or because Tesla has issues.
Right. Yeah. All right. Do you want to talk about Huawei now?
Yes.
Okay. So what is going on with Huawei?
Okay, so that's actually a surprising factor. So back to the Saturday, Huawei launched their own autonomous driving software, and
Mm.
they're combined with other manufacturing. And as at today, Huawei is the first and the only company that has full stock operation in autonomous driving. So that means they have all the technology and equipment in designing, creating new autonomous driving cars. They don't need really getting help from others, so they can develop their own product, then install all the product.
But hold on. I thought there were they were cooperating with other car makers to actually make these vehicles, aren't they?
Yes, so Huawei will be the side who provide the help in technology. They will provide
Okay.
the parts with autonomous driving, and all those manufacturers will just produce their car, and Huawei
Hmm.
will install those high technology parts in there.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, well, maybe these two articles are a bit the same, but the one I found from
Mhm.
TechNode, it was saying that uh, Huawei will be selling the electrical vehicles in their stores. So they're working together with another company like this Chongqing SoCon Industrial Group to make
Mhm.
an electric vehicle. Huawei's providing the technology, but they're also helping selling it, putting it in their stores too.
Yes, I mean, Huawei now has the ability to create and design everything by themselves, and they
Hmm.
are cooperating with Chinese brand. As you can see, they are cooperating with a Chinese manufacturer rather than international brand like Toyotas or
Okay.
BMWs. I think the reason is they want to promote China's brand rather than going out with other brands.
Mm.
And that just reminds me of one thing. Um, at these last 2 weeks, we have seen a lot of auto industry news. Like Xiaomi is launching, Xiaomi is planning to get into the new energy vehicle industry. That's
Hmm.
what we've been discussing 2 weeks ago. And now we see Huawei. And I think today we have another news which says that Meituan is having the self-driving robot to delivery, right?
Right. Yeah. So I found that article from pandaily.com. And
Mhm.
first of all, I'd like to say that Meituan's vehicle looks really cute. It's like a little bee or something. Um,
Yep.
well, it's not that small, but it looks pretty small, and it can only hold 150 kilograms, and it drives slower. I mean, they said the distribution speed is up to 20 kilometers an hour. I don't know if that means that's the driving speed or like the average speed of delivering things.
Mhm.
Do you know? Is it a slower vehicle?
I think is from this article, the speed is up to 20 kilometer per hour. So I think that's the highest speed this
Okay.
vehicle can reach to.
Okay.
And probably it would drive slower based on the road conditions.
Okay. And now, what they're doing now, I think, is they're testing them in a district in Beijing. Or are they? I'm not sure if they're actually making deliveries or if they're just being tested, being driven around. Um, and also, I wonder if you know or if you've heard, are these vehicles, are they driving around in the streets or are they driving like in the bike lanes or what?
So I haven't saw a lot of news about these, but
Yeah.
from what I heard is these are still in testing in Beijing in one area. So
Yeah.
only in one certain suburb where the traffic tend to be better compared with other districts.
Hmm.
So I haven't seen this in Nanjing, and I haven't really seen a lot of these in China. Uh, but all I wanted to say is so far we've been seeing a lot of about self-driving either for Meituan, the delivery product, or that even reminds me of Jingdong last year during the
Hmm.
pandemic area. They use the same driving machines to deliver their package,
Hmm.
and now we see at least a dozen of Chinese companies are working on new energy vehicles. And that reminds me of one question. Have you remember that back to like a 2009 or 2010, when the time all the smartphone companies are working together and being so competitive about
Hmm.
developing a new product after the iPhone 4, I think, right? Remember, do you remember that
What do
time?
you mean? Which type of companies? Which like smartphone
So
manufacturers? Or are you talking about other types?
smartphone in general.
Okay.
So back to iPhone 4. Think about like all Samsung, Nokia, all
Yeah.
those companies that working together. Think about Tesla as iPhone 4. And because Tesla was the very famous electrical cars. And
Yeah.
now in China, we have all different brands that are working on new energy vehicles.
Right.
And that just reminds me of made in China. Like when people think about made in China, they always tend to think about cheap stuff in $1 shop.
Hmm.
But now, I mean, from the article we read, all those technology Chinese company are currently owned, we can see that this Chinese made or China made product is fantastic. I would say it's better than Tesla from my point of view.
Yeah. Yeah, but also a lot of the technology or components within these vehicles is going to be from places all around the world too. Like, just like vehicles are made now, they have stuff from all over the place. But probably what we're seeing here, what we're going to see 10 years from now is that there's going to be more Chinese brands that are putting that all together and producing branding, selling the stuff in China and outside of China too.
Yes, do you remember the first article you shared today is about the Chinese car market back to the pre-pandemic area?
Yeah.
And that is a proof that more Chinese is willing to buy new energy vehicles. I think so far, despite all those technologies, we might not understand what exactly or how it works. The point is, everyone in China, not everyone, I should say, some people like in my age are willing to buy their first car as a new energy vehicles. And that is a new trend you can see. And currently they would have a lot of options. As you can see, there were just so many options because there are simply so many companies are working on this.
Yeah, right.
And I think the key point for the new energy industry is not about the technology it has in a car, it's about infrastructure. And that's something I think is an advantage of China when it comes to the infrastructure. China has the speed to build up everything very quick. Back to last year, they built a hospital in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm thinking of. I mean, in China, if all those manufacturers are agreed on one charging pulse, I mean, all their car manufacturers in different manufacturers can use the same charging pulse. That would be very convenient for consumers.
Right, yeah. And they're building those out. Well, I don't know if they're building them yet, but they'll build those out really quickly across the whole country, right?
Yes, that actually is one strategy China is taking for the 5-year plan.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say about the vehicle market in China or from a consumer perspective or anything? Or do you want to move on to the last thing? Because I'm going to say one thing about Bitcoin.
No, I think that's all.
Okay.
I want to hear about Bitcoin.
Okay.
I know you're interested.
Yes, I'm interested in that. So I saw this article from CNBC.com, and it says that the deputy governor of the People's Bank of China said, "We regard Bitcoin and stablecoin as crypto assets. These are investment alternatives. They are not currency per se, and so the main role we see for crypto assets going forward, the main role is as an investment alternative." This is pretty positive words from China, actually, for somebody official in China, because crypto has gone through some speed bumps. Has had some speed bumps in China. A lot of the local exchanges were banned in the past, and we actually worked on marketing some crypto projects, and I decided that it was legal enough that we could work on those projects. But even some of our team members were a bit scared about it at the time. But everything we did was like, it wasn't illegal to market crypto projects in China. It's just we didn't have a lot of the options for them, and we still don't. I don't think we can set up advertising on most of the major platforms for them, but we can set up content marketing. We can work with some influencers. We can do some kind of traditional advertising on websites. So there's still a lot of options there for marketing. Anyways, I'm a marketer, so I think about marketing mostly, but also I hope that China's somewhat positive view of cryptocurrency will help it grow and help it not be on a total collision course with the Chinese digital yuan. And then consumers will decide what they want. They want the digital yuan. They want, what else do they want? Do they want Bitcoin? Do they want Ether? Do they want hold gold? Do they want to invest in real estate in Vancouver? Probably some of all of those things.
Actually, I want to ask a question to Tait. Do you have any cryptocurrency at this moment? I mean, you don't have to tell me which one you have. It's just a
Yeah,
question.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Bitcoin and Ether, and then I was playing around with some other things. You know, like whenever I see a new app or something, I want to like whenever I see a
Test
new
out.
tech toy, I want to
Yeah.
install it and play with
Hmm.
it. So I was testing out some mining. I was testing out some other decentralized social things, whether they're crypto or not. Some of them are,
Hmm.
and I don't know if any of those will ever be worth any money to me. But I'm just playing around with them. But I think that crypto will be around for a long time,
Hmm.
especially Bitcoin and Ether. But also, what the heck do I know? I'm not an expert on these things. I just think it's cool and it could be very useful and
Hmm.
could be great for international collaboration. Could be great for people around the world. A lot of opportunity there.
Hmm. Recently, I mean, there is a very hot cryptocurrency, Dogecoin.
Sorry, it's just a bit noisy here. What's that, Lawrence?
Okay. Have you heard about Dogecoin? I think that's the hottest coin cryptocurrency back
Yeah,
this
they
week.
they call it Dogecoin in English, but
Okay, Doge,
what do they call it in Chinese?
Doge.
Wait, no, Dogi? That's what they
Yeah,
think it's said
Doge.
in English, or is that
No, in China.
okay? All right.
That's emoji. That's an emoji in the very beginning, and
Yeah,
now it is cryptocurrency, and it's just so hot. I
yeah.
mean, back to just a week ago, it just bomb up like a
Hmm.
200%.
Yeah, I don't know what to make with that one, but it is. It looks fun. Looks fun. I don't know. It has an unlimited supply. I don't know if it's any good or not. It's just interesting.
Okay then.
All right, let's wrap it up here. Thanks for anybody that's listening. If you want to give us some feedback, let us know what you want to hear about. I'd be glad to hear it. I'm going to be doing more episodes like this and like last week's where we kind of focus on a certain thing. I don't want to do it all the time with just the people that I have available here. I might bring in some other friends or people that I don't know yet, some strangers with expertise in different areas related to China, and focus about half of each episode on those things. Thanks, I appreciate you, and see you next week. Bye.
Bye bye.